Hello and welcome to today's meeting on blissful awareness. Here we discuss matters and experiences of fellow seekers, and just it's an excuse to reconnect with all of us and see how we are moving on this spiritual journey and share our thoughts, feelings, and if there are certain clarifications or questions that are also taken up here. So one question has already come. Let me paste it here. And in the meantime, if somebody has any other query or wants to speak up, they can unmute themselves and talk. So Khalid has one question, and which is a very common question and very obvious thing which will come to anybody who is traveling on this path, spiritual path, especially the path of knowledge, is that can there be two experiences? So this has been deliberated several times in different forms, but uh, let us go in more details on this particular thing, whether there can be two experiences, or second part is that is there any one other than me, which is also related. But let us start with first that can there be two experiences? So anybody who is joined, any fellow seekers who have joined in the call can also give their views and try to answer this question, because the first answer is obviously there cannot be two experiences, because if there are two experiences, then one of them needs necessarily to be an experience, because therefore then and only then the other can see that there are two experiences. So this is the first logic. But I think that does not satisfies the intellect several times. So we go further deep. So there are three, four ways by which we can see that whether there are two experiences or one experiencer. One way is that as you go subtle, the differences will start disappearing. Like when we see objects, there are multiple objects, several objects. However, when you come to water, it is more unified. There is less differences in water. It may be appearing as water vapor or ice or water or at some other places in some other form. But still the major main constituent will be same, which is H2O or the water. So it is appearing to be in different forms, but the essence is one. When we go further deep, when we see air, now there the divisions are even less because it is subtler than water. You can't say that if there are 20 people sitting in one big room, which is whose air, there are no differences. Same way, the air which is here now will be somewhere else, and the air which I am breathing is going to plants and it is again coming back and getting recycled. It is flowing freely everywhere in the Earth's atmosphere. So there the differences are much small. Now we go further subtle, then you will find in the space it is all emptiness and there is no divisions. If we say a room, the room is having a space within the room and there is a space outside the room. But the room is in space. It is not that the space is in the room. So the divisions are further imaginary when we come to space. Now, if you go even further subtler than the space, that who is it that gives that experiences the space, then you will find it is mind, which is more subtler than the space. So how can mind be two? There must not be any divisions in the mind. Whatever are the divisions are only apparent divisions. They are not real divisions. And the one who knows the mind, who is experiencing the mind, is more subtler than the mind. So therefore there cannot be two experiences as far as this logic goes. There are other ways also, like if you see a moon somewhere, the moon will be seen in different places in different forms. And I am seeing moon from Delhi, let us say, and other person is sitting in Mumbai and he is seeing the moon. So they will all describe the same property. So we are talking about the one. Although the angles can be different, the views can be different. So it again proves that there is only one thing which they are talking about. Because if we try to find what is experiencer, we all will come to the same conclusion, the same attributes, that there is no attribute, it doesn't changes, it is always a witness, and so on and so forth. In a negative flow, it will be appearing as single. Same way, if again another example, because this cannot be put up in a direct knowledge, it is both available as in, you can't say I can know it and you can't say I can't know it. So it is very subtle. So we have to be very careful and use both our direct experience and logic to come to final conclusion. Otherwise, we will come to a wrong conclusion. The assumption, when we say that there are two experiences, there is an underlying assumption that I am either the mind or the body. And this underlying assumption is the root cause and the ignorance behind this question. So, if this underlying assumption or identification with this mind and body is removed, then this question is null and void, whether there are one experiencers or two experiencers. Let me give you one more example. If a person is in a room which is having three, four windows, now the same person can open one window and see a scene where there is a garden. If he goes to other window, there is a different scene altogether. Third window, there is a different scene. And he can simultaneously see from different windows, different views. So that doesn't mean that the experiencers are two. That only means there are different points of view, different perspective of one experiencer who is who is having different experiences through different mechanisms or instruments. Same way, if there is a building and a camera is there, you can take numerous angles from which the photograph of the building can be taken. And those photographs can be dissimilar in all the aspects. Still, the building is one. So there are several other examples. Maybe some others who have joined the call can also share their experiences. Like a moon, if it is shining in it is being seen in the sky, but if you can see the reflection of that moon in a small cup of water, or on a river, in a lake, or in the sea, so whichever instrument has the ability to reflect, the reflection will be showing the moon, but that doesn't mean again that there are many moon, and so on and so forth. That, we can use our own examples or metaphors to know that there cannot be many experiencers. One is that direct experience. Now, further, if we go down, go deep, that okay, if there is one experiencer, then the question will arise, why I can't know your experience and why you can't know my experience? Because what I am thinking right now is not known to others, and what you are thinking is not known to me. If everything is getting united at experiencer level, then why those things cannot be known? So I will like to hear from others also, if anybody wants to unmute themselves and talk about it, or if they want to write, that how, when we say there is one experiencer, then why one one event which is happening in, say, USA cannot be known to me if I am in India directly, because the experiencer is one. So if somebody likes to share his thoughts. because minds are different. Very good. Rohit has said because there are different minds, therefore it cannot be said that the experiences are different. So again, the root cause or the root problem in this question is you are again assuming that this mind is questioning that there are different minds which are having certain experiences which is not known to this mind. Now you're not again looking it from the perspective of the experiencer. You are again looking it from the perspective of a individual mind, an individual location from where the experiences are happening. So I think everybody has got this answer, that and they are convinced also. I don't say that you have to agree to what I am saying or what anybody else is saying. See it from your own from your own experience, and sometimes experiences can lie. Just like you see water in a desert, but you know there is no water there. It is only sun rays which is falling on the sand, and there is a temperature difference, gradient is there, and those gradient is getting into eyes, and it is giving an illusion that there is water. So you will experience as if there is water, but by logic you will come to know that there is no water there. It is only an illusion. Similarly, you have to use both experience and logic to come to a right conclusion. If the assumptions are wrong, if the parameters are wrong, then the conclusion will be wrong. Therefore, we be very careful in finding out what is the assumption, what is your direct experience, and then use the logic to come to a conclusion. And that conclusion should not be which you have heard from someone. It should be your own your own conclusion, and that will be that you don't have to remember. It will stay with you. It will stick with you because you have seen it. You have examined it from all the perspectives, from various angles. Then and only then you have come to this conclusion. So I hope Khaled, in case he is not here in the call, otherwise we could have talked to him. I think he's in different time zone, so I hope he will listen to the recording, and you can ask again if there are certain more clarifications. The second question is there any one other than me? I think it is related to the first question. When you are saying, is there any one other than me? If that me is established in the experiencer, then there is no one else. But if that me is established in one particular point of perspective or point of view, like a mind, a localized feeling of I-ness in the body, in the object, or in the mind, then yes, there are others points of views, points of perspectives having mind, body, and this complex structure is there. And there are numerous objects which are apparently non-living. But if you see closely, this body is also a non-living thing, because had it been living, what happens when a person dies? Like one person is alive and after few seconds he dies. Suddenly he dies because of some cardiac arrest or something like that. So what has happened? Had the body been not inert, after the death also the body should see, the eyes should see, the ears should listen, the body should have pain if it is being cut. But that doesn't happen because the body is burnt or buried in the ground. It doesn't feel any pain. So what has happened in that fraction of a second? So that is the difference. This body is inert. Same way with mind. Can the mind know anything if there is no I behind the mind? If there is, if that experiencer is not there, can mind have any experience? The answer will be no, because You can see it from your own experience right now, right here. If I is removed, can you see anything? If I is removed, can you hear anything? If I is removed, can the word exist? If I is removed, can you think anything? So the root is I. Now that I, if it is not established in its own self, when it is not abiding in the self, then there will be a illusion that there are several experiencers, there are several I's behind each mind and body complex, which is having certain experiences which are different. But again, they are different experiences, no doubt, and there are different. But let me put it from a different way: that if once this rule is broken, then it is 100% established that the limitation which are being imposed in coming to a conclusion are the limitations of the mind and body structure, are the limitations of the experience, which is thinking itself to be a different entity. Like sun is there and there are different instruments, different mirrors. One place there is no reflection of sun. Apparently there is no reflection of the sun. But if there is a clean mirror, there will be a very good reflection, very bright reflection of sun. And if the mirror is dirty, the reflection will be slightly more less bright. Same way, if the instrument is having certain issues, the experiencer, again, all these examples are to point towards something which cannot be defined in words, because you cannot say I know the experiencer and you cannot say I don't know the experiencer. You can't even say that I become the experiencer, because if you say I become the experiencer, what were you before you were not the experiencer? So it never happens that you are never the experiencer, you are ever the experiencer, in the sense that if that I is missing, now I is to be taken as the experiencer. If that I is not there, there won't be any experience. And in the same breath, if there is no experience, there won't be any experiencer. Because experiencer definition is what? The one who is having experiences. So they are both, therefore, in the end, we come to the non duality only, that they are not two. But we go step by step, because sometimes it is difficult to straight away understand what is non duality. So we say whatever can be experienced is not you, whatever can be known is not the knower, is not the experiencer. And in the end, you will find that even this is partially true. This is not true in the absolute terms. So, in what is the absolute truth? That they are not two. They don't even say it is one. They say it is not two. So, very beautifully, it has been recorded in different words, in different manners by different gurus and different scriptures. The one and same thing has been explained by so many people. So, you choose whatever is right to you. If it is not clear, then you can ask again, or if it is not still not clear, then you can try other paths. You can go to path of yoga, you can start meditation, let the purification happens, let the mind settles down, let the intellect becomes ready to accept what it is seeing. And I don't say that this is the only truth you have. You may have your own truth. So till the time you are satisfied with your own truth, that is the truth. So be with it, but use your direct experience and logic to try to find whether whatever you are believing to be true, whether it is truth or it has certain fallacies. So once you are in the path of knowledge, that seed is always there. It will not go anywhere, because you go to any path, sometimes you will start questioning. You will ask your teacher, and if you If you're satisfied, fine. Otherwise, you will turn back to the path of knowledge in some time. The time is eternal. There's no hurry. Like everybody can take their own sweet time to. They should not. We should not hurry also to find, unless there is a thirst. You can't have the knowledge. The thirst needs to be there. That fire should be there to see what is the truth, to know who am I, and that will be the starting point for this inquiry. The third question, they're all related. The third comment is that, is there any one looking from someone else's eyes and feeling other people's feeling, or is it just one experiencer? So the last part is very easy. Yes, it is just one experiencer. Now, the first part also, I think we have talked about it, that is there anyone looking from someone else's eyes? See, eyes also are inert, and the mind also is inert, which is behind the eyes. So there is only one consciousness. There is no word actually consciousness. We use experiencer. There is only one experiencer which is behind all the eyes. And why we can't know other person's experiences is because we have never given that an attempt. We have never settled the mind. We are so engrossed seeing outwards. We are so engrossed in fulfillment of desires. We have never bothered to question what is being told to us through so many people around us, by the society, by the teachers, by parents, by friends. And what is the reason? Because this mind body structure wants to survive. There is an inherent rule to survive, to protect itself. And that protection comes in terms of accumulating wealth, fulfillment of desire. And those desires are arising because we don't know where the desires are getting fulfilled. We think that the desires are getting fulfilled by getting something, by situation, by events, by persons, by objects. But if you closely watch, the joy which is felt after fulfillment of a desire is the state which is the absence of desire. This is one way of seeing it. The other way of seeing it is the place where the desires are arising. It is at the same place where the desires are getting fulfilled. Can there be any fulfillment if I is not there? Can there be any desire if I is not there? So it is the same I which is being seen as many. Now, another metaphor is that of dream, which is very, very, very relevant, because in dream, the one which is apparent again as a fictitious character is creating another fictitious entity in the dream. Like I am I am seeing a dream in which I am riding a horse. Now this Ashwin, which is different in waking state, is creating another Ashwin which is riding a horse in a dream. So that Ashwin and that horse both are fictitious. Both are not different from the one who is seeing the dream. But during that time when the Ashwin is riding the horse, that fictitious Ashwin doesn't know that it is a fictitious character. This is the beauty of it. That fictitious Ashwin riding the horse doesn't know that it itself is a fictitious character. So when does it know that that was a fiction, imagination? When you wake up, when you come back, your memories come back of your earlier waking state, that I was this, I am that. Again, that all is illusion again, but apparently it is more real. And in that comparison, you find that dream was an imagination. But from the perspective of oneness, the one who was seeing the dream has become all the characters in the dream. So when you wake up, can you say there were many Ashwins? No, there was only one which has become all those characters, and there were emotions, and it was real, and everything was same. I mean, so real during the time the dream was being seen. Now, if the awareness increases in the waking state, you will find that the awareness will start coming or pouring down in the dream state. And that pouring down, even for once, will make you fully clear that dream. While dreaming, also, you can make it that I am not that character which is having these experiences. Then the boundaries between dream and the waking state will start dissolving. Your dream will become more real, and your waking state will become more dreamlike. So it should only be done once the basic knowledge is acquired with the in in in, in after you have connected with the guru, because otherwise there will be lot of confusion, and you yourself may achieve those states, but that will not bring you to the self knowledge. So I think this is how I have attempted to answer these questions. If anybody wants to add or ask something else, very different topic, you all are most welcome, because I don't think there is any perfect answer to any one of these questions, and these questions are very relevant. I I believe all the seekers will one time or other will have this question. Some will get answers, others will ignore this question, or others will have some other answers which may be correct. And if they can share, then we can change our opinion. I can change my views that yes, there are there can be two experiences, but till now I have not found any better logical explanation as well as direct experience to prove that there are two experiences. The other way to see it is that we can ask the person who is asking this question that you prove that there are two experiences. And if it cannot be proven, then it can be inferred that there is only one experiencer. So we ourselves can try to break all these logics, whichever we have given since last 15-20 minutes, and see whether this logic is wrong, whether this is collaborating with whatever experiences we are having, whether this can be proven wrong. If anything can be proven wrong, then change your conclusion. But if in case it cannot be proven wrong, then it further reestablishes that whatever conclusion you are coming is close to truth. Because truth is that which is not changing. But at the same time, truth is not unknown, because truth is the experiencer which is not changing. So experiencer is not which is unknown. So again, I will repeat which I have said some time back, that experiencer cannot be known, but experiencer is not unknown. You cannot become experiencer by doing anything, because you are already the experiencer. So whatever you are experiencing is also the same experiencer, and the experiences are not different from the experiencer in the ultimate analysis or logic, and which is again correlates directly with the direct experiences. So here I will stop, and I will ask anybody else to either speak up or write, or if you want to talk about something else or want to ask other questions, you're most welcome. I think whatever we have talked today, if anybody wants to express their own thoughts about it, because there are no further questions as such. So anybody is welcome to either share their thoughts on the same subject or some other thing which anybody would like to bring upon. I think everybody's questions are silent. Everybody is in peace, in love. Actually, this happens when you walk on a path, no, and you are going within yourself. All questions will disappear. It is the obvious thing which will happen if you are on the right path. If you are having a right connection with the Guru, questions can't remain. Questions are just because there is some ignorance left, and nobody can answer any question. Nobody can answer any question. They are just pointers that see, because if you are intellectually understanding a subject, then there is no meaning listening to n number of people, and you will only re-establish what you think is the truth. You only listen to what you already know, and that is a very big fallacy that people can spend years and years together. I'm not saying about others. I myself has have done it. You find something good here, then you switch to some other channel, some other guru, you will find some, oh, this is correct. You start listening to him or her for a few days, then you switch again, you read some book. Yeah, somebody wants to talk. Okay. So Rohit has one question. Do we use Vedanta reflection model? How does mind and experiencer interact? Very good question. So, what the first part is, do we use Vedanta reflection model? Say you can use that model, which I also gave example some time back about sun getting reflected in mirrors or other things where the if the surface is not proper, the reflection will not be proper. So we say that that entity does not have the ability to reflect the sun. Similarly, why only this mind body structure feels to be alive, whereas the car, the scooter, is doesn't seems to be alive. The difference is that one can reflect that uh, experience, so that, I mean, this is one model which satisfies the intellect. But again, Vedanta also talks about non-duality, right? So you are rightly saying it is a model only. So what does this model does? It satisfies your intellect. Just that, not nothing beyond it. Because in the end, Vedanta is not talking about duality. It is only talking about non-duality. But since non-duality cannot be grasped, so it is being said that this model is there, like in path of knowledge, the model of vibration is used, and from that vibrations it is said that everything is memory, which we call as chitta in Hindi. So in that memory there are different layers, and once those vibrations are getting stabilized, different layers in the memories are formed, and which appears as inert objects or bodies, or the layer of thoughts, emotions, feelings, desires. So, all these are layers, and all these structured layers, when similar of those structures are accumulated at one place, some of those structures are capable of doing the the capability to start questioning, which are more advanced in the layered structure, like intellect. Now, intellect can always question itself, that what is intellect. Once that ability comes, which is not there perhaps in the animals are just governed by the instinct, or the plants, which is just a input output mechanism is there. Whereas in first time in the human beings, in this layered structure of memory, the ability comes to question itself, and that is called as reflected consciousness in the model of Vedanta, which is RC, or there are maybe further uh, further subtle explanations of what is reflected consciousness, what is absolute consciousness, and what is unconsciousness. But this word consciousness is not used in path of knowledge to avoid any confusion. So what is said is experiencer and experience. Now this makes it very clear. There's Because even if we say reflected consciousness, it is again inert. Even in Vedanta, it is inert. It is a reflection of something else. Like moon is a very good example. That moon doesn't have its own light. It is reflecting the light of sun. But in the night, moon appears as if it is having its own light. So moon is similar to mind. In Vedanta, I think Adi Shankara has also mentioned about Drag Drashya Vivek, wherein he says that mind is both an observer and being observed. So he gave it four divisions. First is objects, which are observed, which cannot observe. Second is senses, which can observe objects, but which are being observed by the mind. If there is no mind behind the senses cannot know anything. Like if a person dies, the eyes cannot observe anything, cannot see anything. So mind is there behind the sense organs. So objects are many, senses are one. Like there can be several objects, but eyes are one. The sense, not the physical eyes, the ability to see is one. Same way, the ability to hear is one, whereas there are different sounds. You can apply the same logic to different things, different sense organs, and you will find that the sense organ is one, the objects are many. But when you come to mind, you will find that mind is one, and mind is observing the sense organs. So mind is behind the sense organs. Now mind is again similar. It is both observed and a observer. Now what is observing the mind? You will say it is experiencer. Now these two stages, intermediary stages. So one is absolute experiencer, which is, we say, only experiencer, and then there is mind, then there are senses, and then there is an object. So all these are layered structures, either the physical objects or the body. Body is just accumulation of senses, and third is the mind, and finally all these three, the objects, the body, the senses, and the mind, are an object in front of the experiencers. So in ultimate analysis, you will find there are intermediary reflected consciousness, but they are also inert. They are also just an experience. So you can divide it only in two divisions, because if you have to come to a conclusion, you try to eliminate, okay, I am not the objects, because if there are no senses, object cannot exist. And I'm not the senses, because if there is no mind, the senses will have no meaning. And I'm not the mind, because the mind does not have any existence without the experiencer. And both the objects and the senses are nothing but the experiences of the mind. So initially we say mind, but later on we say it is memory, because mind again has several different meanings. So to avoid that, one more word I mean, memory is used as a more authentic word in the scriptures. So that's how this is good model to make intellect understand what is happening. But intellect itself is an experience. Please understand that it is a very refined layer in the memory, but it is an experience, right? So, but it has the ability to see that what it is, where from the experiences are happening, to at least question its own existence, to have the ability to question its own existence is a very unique thing. And that is available only in human beings and not in all the human beings, right? Because not all will question whether they are living or not, whether what is life, whether what is knowing the mind. So those questions will not arise in all the human beings. So your second part is how does mind and experience? I hope it is clear, Rohit. How does mind and experiencer interact? How does mind and experiencer interact? So let me ask this from the group and the seekers, fellow seekers who are connected. If anybody will like to answer this question from Rohit, because I have been speaking non-stop for so much time, and maybe you can share it, give it a different perspective. In between, I will talk about what Madhuri has written a comment. To me, there can't be any other way to explain this question. Left no stone unturned. We all have the same question in the beginning. Yeah, I fully agree with you, Madhuri, because any genuine seeker will ask this question, and ultimately, there won't be any answer to this question. The beauty of this question is it cannot be answered. Whatever answer is given will be half truth, half false. So that's the beauty. That's keep this question alive. That keeps this inquiry alive. It is not that one fine day I found it and then that's the end of it. No, no, no. I don't think it is. It is like that. Yeah, if somebody wants to talk, Acha, Khalid has joined. I think you have joined slightly late. I will share the recording with you. Yeah,
Hello.
yeah, 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 Raju.
Yeah,
Somebody wants to talk?
good morning.
Morning,
Yes,
morning.
yes.
Please go ahead.
So, uh, the last question, that the interaction between the experiencer and the mind. So it's also very simple that experiencer does not interacts, and all interactions are of mind only, or can we say that it is within the mind? So it is mind interacting with the mind. That's a very straightforward answer to it, but it can be explained further that what happens that when such questions are being discussed, it's often that the identification, what we say is you and I, often slips back to the same identification of body mind structure, and that is where the confusion keeps on repeating itself. Oh, that it is there something which is interacting, or it is something, a different identity. So one has to try to constantly remember that when a question is being answered as that you are the experiencer, this you is not about you as what you considered as you or yourself as mind body structure, but it's being talked about the essence of you, which is the essence of me and everybody else and everything else. And that essence is simply unknowable. So here, a constant reminder of this essence element, what is being, pointed towards. Actually, it cannot be even pointed to because it is everywhere, but still, just for the understanding. And so, if one looks carefully, it will be very clear that all interactions, all actions, reactions, discussions are happening within the mind. Uh, Experiencer, that part which is being, pointed as an experiencer is actually not separate, and it is just simply observing. That I would like to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv. I think it was very useful. I agree with you, but there are some more comments. Let us come back in more detail about this point. Mira is saying that experiencer is just observing and not doing anything. Very good. No interaction between mind and experiencer. Now she is talking from a different level now that there is no interaction. What, where is the interaction between mind and the experiencer? Very good. Anuradha is again saying the same thing. No interaction between mind and experiencer. Again, there is no interaction. Rohit is saying mind is inert like body. However, it comes alive because of experiencer. So there are different views now. The question is, let me repeat the question. How does mind, there is, Khalid has said there is the appearing of interaction. Well, I mean, he's saying there is a illusion that there is interaction between experiencer and mind. But it is not real. It is just steals the eye. I mean, what perhaps you are trying to say is that it is an illusion of I which thinks that it is an independent entity, and that is the interaction between mind and experiencer. Rohit says, some say mind is the manifestation of experiencer. Now you are bringing a different dimension. Khaled is saying it appears as the I am interacting with the mind, but it's not true. Okay, so there are different views now. Let me repeat the question and try to answer what I think on this subject. The question is, how does the mind and experiencer interact? So the question is how. That means he's asking about the process. That means he's sure that there is an interaction between experiencer and mind. And what is the process? So there is no process actually. So does it mean there is no interaction? For interaction to happen, I think I agree with Meera and others, that Anuradha, that there is no interaction actually, because this question can be answered from two perspectives. First, let us think it from the perspective of non-duality. There is no interaction between mind and the experience. What is mind? Mind is an experience. If you put it in more technical terms, mind can be said to be an experience. So, what is you are saying? What is the interaction between experience and the experiencer? The answer is, in non duality, experience is existing, non experiencer is existing, and both are non existing. There is no experience and there is no experiencer. So, they are both dissolved, and they are both existing in the state of oneness, in the state of non duality. But this answer will not satisfy several people. So let us come to duality. Let us see. Now, just be clear that when you say mind, it is just an experience, right? Technical word for mind is experience, because mind can be experienced. So question is, how does experience and experiencer interact in duality? In duality also, there is no interaction. How can we say that this is the process by which experience is coming to the experiencer? You may say that the experiencer is having experiences through the senses. But when you dive deep, those senses are also an experience, right? Then you say, no, no, the experiences are happening through mind. But again, the same logic, the mind also is an experience. How is the mind experienced? To by the experiencer. We have to come to the conclusion that the experience have the same fundamental level as the experiencer itself, in even in duality. because the experiencer is not known, same way experiences are never known. The experiencer is without any attributes, the experiences are without any attributes. We come down further, then we say the attributes are there. But pure experience doesn't have any attribute. It is called in Shaivism Shakti. It is called sometimes Devi. It is called sometimes illusion. It is called sometimes Maya. They are different words for that which cannot be expressed, which cannot be explained, howsoever you may try in duality. I'm just talking about duality when there is a breakup, an illusionary breakup, an apparent breakup where there is no breakup. There is a breakup in experiencing or in oneness as experience and experiencer, and they both have same level of identity. I will explain it further. Like if there is a ocean, the waves are, let us say, experience, and the depth of the ocean is experiencer. They both are illusion. Unless the experience is there, where is the experiencer? And unless the experiencer is there, where is the experience? And if you try to find what is connecting in between, there is nothing. So experience is as absolute as experiencer. This, I think, we need to understand in more depth why it is said. So depth of the ocean is experiencer, and the waves are experiences. That's the only example which comes to my mind. Like the sun is the experiencer and the rays are the experience. They both have the same essence. They both have the same essence. So in between something called I comes from somewhere, which is again an experience. Now let us come to the third level. So there is a very good video in Hindi, Bahustriya Gyan. If you understand Hindi, Rohit, I will share that link here, in which this level are explained in very beautiful manner by Tarunji. First is the level of non-duality. Second is duality, where we answered. Now come to the third level, which is the level of vibrations. Then come to the fourth level, which is the level of uh, Karan Sharir, the causal bodies. Then the level of mind, which is the subtle body. Then the level of senses, which is this physical body. And then the level of objects, which we considered as the inert. Now, this question can be answered in all these levels in a different manner. So we have to not mix the different levels. If somebody going around does not have any exposure to non-duality and I say that experience and experiencer are one, they will laugh or they will throw stones at me. But we are not talking to a non-seeker. Here we are talking to a seeker who is burning from within, who is not finding his answers in the logical ways which the society explains, which the science explains also. Because science is assuming material to be the truth, and from that material the consciousness is appearing somewhere with the development or with the vikas, with the, I don't know, with progress of these structures, memory structures. So in duality also the answer is there is no interaction between, or there is no process in the way the experience and experiences are related can be explained. Both are having same level of realities. So experiencer is equal to experience, is equal to experiencing, is equal to absolute, is equal to non-duality, is equal to the truth as it is. But once we go further down, we can satisfy the intellect by saying, yes, there are senses through which mind can experience, and there are subtle senses by which the mind can be experienced by the experiencer. But this is in a lower realm of reality, lower realm of layer of memories, where there is reality assumed to be given to the senses, to the body, to the mind. But again, I will come back to the same question. Who is the one who is giving this reality to the experiences? Is that which is giving reality to the experiences any different from the experiences itself? Is it possible that experiencer is more subtle and experiences are gross? Is the experience of listening different from experience of seeing? When you are listening to me and when you are eating food, they are two different experiences, but where is the difference? Are they not simply experiences and experiencers? So think deeply into it. Rohit has said, is mind not part of the subtle body which migrates to new body? No, no, no. Mind is a very, again, there are several meanings can be assigned to the mind. So technically, memory is the right word, which is the vibrations getting more stable is memory. And your question is mind not part of the subtle body? What is subtle body? Subtle body is which is not gross. Gross body everybody knows. So when your emotions, your thoughts, desires, and memory in the sense that whatever is stored in some place, all that put together is subtle body. So point you are asking is mind not a part of the subtle body? When we say mind, it is actually it mind doesn't is not properly explained in path of knowledge. So it is a collection of all these things. So it itself is the subtle body. It is not part of the subtle body. If you say mind from a collection of thoughts, sensations, feelings, emotions, then that collection itself is called mind, which is also called the subtle body. But when we talk from the perspective of the causal body, which is more subtler than the subtle body, but that is also mind in one way. So it depends on what you are defining as mind, then the answer can be given. And mind does not migrates to new body. Subtle body is having more life, a longer life than the physical body. Like physical body dies, then also the subtle body remains. But that is in a relative terms we are talking about these things. And when the subtle body goes, the causal body remains. That is how it has been explained in path of yoga. But in path of knowledge, all these three, whether it is a gross body or a subtle body or a causal body, they are all part of illusion. And all three can be termed in one word, which is called experience. Because you can experience the physical body, you can experience the subtle body, and you can experience the causal body. So, all three simply put together in one word is an experience. And that's where we started from. So, causal body is having, in a way, more longer life than the subtle body. Now, this again is very relative because a concept of time is being created here, which is again an illusion. A concept of space is required to have any experience. A concept of senses is required to have any experiences. So, all these three, the time and space and the senses, are just mere concepts. They are not real in terms of experiencer and experience. Khalid has, I hope, Rohit, it is clear. Khalid is one more comment that there is the appearance of differences in the meaning in preferences and aversions. I think that appearance is not true. I'm not very clear about your question. There is the appearance of differences in the meaning. Are you talking about mind? In preferences and aversions, I think that appearance is not true. The difference between one experience and another. Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. So now I understand. There is actually no real difference between one experience and other experience. They are only apparent. And the differences are assigned. The difference is also an experience. Very good. Yes. The one See, ultimately, if you try to narrow down what your understanding, you will find there is only an experiencer and an experience. An experience, I'm saying, not many experiences. Because all experiences are just one experience. And that experience is experience of memory, experience of mind, you can say. But again, there is no difference between one experience and other experience. They all differences are again an experience, right? Because you can experience a car is different from a scooter. You can experience one body is different from other body, but they are again experience, right? So if you go one level up subtle, you go one level up causal, you go one level up vibrations, you go one level up, then there is no difference between one experience and other experience. Then at that level, there is no difference even between experience and the experiencer. They both are one and the same. They both are coexisting. They both cannot exist one without the other. So at that level, there are no differences. And that is the level very close to non duality. The level of duality is very close to non duality. I think we are more than an hour. So if anybody is having something to
Hello.
say, or yeah, yeah, please go ahead.
Good morning, Ashwin ji. Uh, I think all this can also be related, is having a strong analogy with the game we play, video games. Uh, like, I want to share one game that Vice City, the Vice City and Saint Andreas, the whole world there, which is appeared on the screen, it is merely occurring in 1 GB data, but the whole world is created within that. So can we relate with that and say that the world we are experiencing right now is also projected like in the gaming world? And again, the different concept of karma and predetermination and everything can be related back to the video games. Can we have discussion on that?
Sorry, I actually lost connection for a while. Can you repeat again for
Yeah,
last?
yeah, I can.
Sorry.
I was saying that the whole concept of reality and illusion, if we see, uh, can be related to video games that we play, like the games, the Saint Andreas game. There we are having one body, the main character, and he's free to do anything in that world. But some
Yes.
missions are also given to him, and
Yes, yes, got it.
if that mission is not passed, then repeatedly in cycles he will again go to that only, if he has to progress in that game. But if he the character doesn't go to that mission, he keeps involving in the leisure activities like roaming around or doing whatever stuff. So I think that
True,
there's
true.
a strong analogy between video games and what we are experiencing in this waking state. Many more concepts can be
Excellent.
inherited from that.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes, yes, I agree with you. Vipin, now I got it what you were saying. Actually, I missed some of part of it when you were earlier talking. Yeah, you are absolutely right. This is one more excellent way of understanding how the things are moving, which is called virtual reality also. Or you can say video games. Example of a video game which you have given is absolutely true in this sense that there is a character in a video game which feels it is independent. There are certain rules bound in which the character has to operate, and there are different levels. So, as you rightly mentioned, that if something is, if he plays within those rules, he is given more powers and he goes to the next level. And if he performs well in that level within those different dimensions, now different rules, he progresses to the next level. Now it is similar. It is not same, but quite analogy can be driven from how things are happening in different layers in the memory. The layers of the memory are also trying to protect themselves to try to progress to the next level. And once the next level is reached, that doesn't mean that the lower levels are not necessary. Only that the lower levels are not that much identified with. The lower level are not, you don't think that you are those lower levels. So it is a very good analogy. And virtual reality, again, you see that you can, the holocaust, or I don't know what is the word which is being used, that you can, a person is sitting somewhere else and his whole image will be created somewhere else as if it is in a 3D manner, as if he's walking in the stage. So, what is this? How it is possible? It is possible through science now. But if we go to further deep levels of rules which are operating in the mind, you will see that it is all connected. It is only the limitation of the mind that it doesn't know those rules. Doesn't make it doesn't mean that those rules doesn't exist, right?
And one thing can also be related, like the person who is playing that game. Uh, its analogy can be related to that of the experiencer. For that game, the person who is playing the game is the experiencer.
See, experiencer is not doing anything, it is just witnessing. There's need to be some analogy and some differences also.
Yes.
Experiencer is not participating in the game. It's not that he is doing playing with the experiences, as we just talked, that experiences are equal to experiencer, right?
Mm,
So in absolute term, there is only non-duality. Please remember this. Otherwise, we will get caught up in some of these examples and take them to be true, which is not the case. These examples are just to point towards something which is more deeper than these examples. No example can be perfect. Each example will have certain flaws. So don't try to full fit in everything in one example. Just
mm,
see that all these analogies, metaphors, examples are there to see something more fundamental. Like this eye. How can you not, how can anybody miss this eye? And if this eye is not there, how can there be any experience? This is more fundamental, right? I
mm.
think we are exceeded time. There are some more comments, some more questions. So anybody in the group is more than welcome to answer them. And some of them, if they are left, we will take it up in the next Friday, because not many question come. So these questions we can start our discussion in the next Friday meeting. So I thank everybody, all of you, to join in, to chip in, as well as to walk together on this path. And it is a beautiful journey. I don't know, I don't think, and I'm very sure that I don't know anything more than what anybody joined on this conversation knows. It's only that with the grace of Guru, he told me to talk, so I'm talking. So it's just that we are sharing our own experiences, and we are just trying to help each other. So it will be more than welcome that if somebody shares their thoughts, their comments, or answer the questions which come in the group, or answer the question in the voice by speaking when we are conversing. Because if I may be wrong at several places, I'm not fully knowledgeable in so many things. So everybody has their own deep experiences, and once those experiences are shared, it reinforces what we already know, or it it makes others change their views to some extent to refine their understandings. So thank you so much for joining in, and we will connect again next Friday